Hello everybody and welcome to CROCH-EH, a Canadian crochet podcast. I am your hostess Claudia. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this is your first time, welcome. If this is not your first time, welcome back. I hail from the base of the Rocky Mountains in southern Alberta, Canada, and I love to crochet. Let's get started. So I have received some comments from lovely viewers commenting on the quality of the video. So I have taken that under advisement. I am not in a place right now that I can buy a bunch of new camera equipment, but I was thinking about it, and as long as I just film a few things separately, that should, I'm gonna try it for this episode, that should avoid a lot of that like auto-focusing that's really distracting. Which I don't know why I don't notice it, but I don't notice it in other people's videos, but I hear you. I hear that some of you have an issue with that. I totally appreciate it. Thank you for letting me know. And I am trying to think of creative ways to solve it that don't require me spending a bunch of money. So we'll see how it goes, okay? Today I am wearing, because you'll probably be able to hear, it's crazy windy, it's yucky, it's just, ugh, and I have kind of like, you can't really hear it, but I can feel it. I have like, my sinuses are feeling not great, and my throat is the tiniest bit sore, like raspy sort of. I know, like, I feel like nobody other than myself would hear it at this point, excuse me, but it's just a yucky, cold, windy, raining day, which we don't usually get in Alberta, so it's a perfect excuse to crack out a triangle scarf. So that is what I am wearing. I am wearing the one that started them all. I think that's just what I'm going to call this one. This was my flagship one. So I like it because I can get all nice and cozied up in here. And I love it. It was this or a poncho, because I've got two hanging out right now, two ponchos. And I would love to make a third, possibly a fourth one. All right, if you remember correctly, a few weeks ago, I'll try and link it in the iCard so you can go take a look if you have no idea what I'm talking about, but I had purchased some of the Bernat baby stripes yarn, and I had started a poncho, then I took it apart and made something else, or wanted to make something else, then I took that apart and I went back to the poncho. So I have a dear lovely friend that I have known for a number of years, and she is just going through a hard time right now, and I was like, you know what, like, my love language is not giving things, it's acts of service, but to me, giving someone something useful sort of still fits into that act of service, particularly when it comes to crocheting things, because I have to, like, it's the making that I like doing, it's not the thing. Like, they could have, like, someone can ask me to make anything, and either I'll figure it out or I won't. But yeah, it's like, it's the making and the doing. It's like, for me, it's very closely tied to, like, the reason I like to do the laundry in the house is so that my family knows that I love them, which that's a whole other topic. But that being said, I got the poncho finished, and it is so, so lovely, and my daughter wanted to keep it, and I had to tell her no. So she was a bit sad and angry at me. So here is, this is the Bernat baby stripes in sour candy. This item will be listed on Ravelry, so you can take a look at my notes, and I'm trying to get better about actually putting notes in there. It is just a standard granny stripe, as you can see, and the colors turned out really, really interesting. So this is the front, and then this is the back. This one I think is absolutely perfect example, just like my other smaller poncho, of having the seam go all the way down the back in a straight line, making your change of color in the center of the last instead of going off to the side like a traditional granny square. I know I've talked about that part ad nauseum, so I won't bore you again with the details. But again, if you're interested in what I'm talking about here, I'll link it in the iCards so that you can take a look about what I mean when I talk about a wandering seam versus this back seam like this. So it's pretty heavy actually for this size. I wasn't really expecting that. This yarn is 100% acrylic. It's the Bernat like baby soft yarn, but it's this really fun stripy color. They had this at Michael's, and I thought it was just the most fun. One other thing that I added, and this is purely for decoration, and this can be taken out, is I put a little cord around the neck, just so it looks like something a tiny bit different. I mean, yeah, if she doesn't want it, she could just take it out. Or she could put, like, I was thinking of finding like little charms or something to put on the ends of these, but I didn't have anything at the time, so I don't know. I knew that I wanted something around the neck. really the biggest thing. And I added a super, super fun border to this one, and it's not one that I've ever done before, and I absolutely love how it turned out. But oh my gosh, it took so long. This was a ton of work. So I will get you a close. So what I did to accomplish this border was, in the center of every cluster of the granny stripe that you see, is I put a single crochet, and then I chained 6, and then I put a single crochet into the next one onto the end, and then I came back around the other direction once I got to the end, and on the majority of the chain I did single crochets, and then at the very top loop of the set of chains I did a bobble stitch, so that gives it the fun bobbly looking appearance. So yes, it took an extraordinary amount of time, and I was not prepared for that, but I really like how it turned out. So there it is on the back, and it just happened that the colors ended up the same, so it worked out really, really pretty, and I really like it. The last time that I showed you my blanket, I was about halfway down this shell stitch. Oh, this is getting really unmanageable. It's getting so big. Anyway, I was about halfway through this shell stitch area. I didn't put a stitch marker in, or if I did, it fell out because I didn't clip it. So I can't exactly tell, but it was roughly like this area that I was finished, or that I had finished off last time. So I haven't worked on it a whole lot, but I have made some progress, which I'm glad for. And this is the wrong side again, so I have little tails and stuff that can you see? There we go. And then I finished up the shell section, and when I was finishing, I kind of wish that I had made it bigger, but we'll see how it goes. At this section also, I was thinking about putting some tassels, but because the stitch is just so pretty, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to put any tassels on here. And then next I started on, this is the first instance. Yes, this is the first instance of the botany teal. And then I made the little bobble stitch in here with the Aran yarn. And then this is double crochet, single crochet and bobble. And this looks like a double crochet as well. I have to look at my list here. So this is my pattern. And I have 2 more of these double crochet of the botany teal to come up, and then I'll be on to heather gray, and then navy, and then this oh shoot, a bunch of this got, oh no, I'm just looking at this and a whole bunch of this is like wiped off. Hopefully I can read it still. It's those erasable pens, which I really like, and I've never had this happen, so I don't know what's going on. I think I can still read it, hopefully. Oh, keep your fingers crossed for me, please. Otherwise, I'm going to have to refigure all this out. Anywho, back to that. So after I'm finished this and the gray and navy section, then I'm getting into, there's this really big, fun repainting section that will be started, and that will have tassels on it, which will be added at the end, not the beginning. But to me, like, and that makes like the bulk up of this blanket. So I'm excited to get started on that. But I absolutely love how this teal and the Aran color works out. I originally decided that I wanted this to be white, but when I was looking through my stash, I saw I had way more of the Aran colored yarn versus the white yarn. And it doesn't really make a difference because it's such a nice transition and nice like pop of color in between the two here. So it didn't really matter that this isn't white, because at the end of the day, like, you're probably not really going to notice. And I also liked because it's sort of in like the same family but opposite of the actual white and navy section. So the navy sort of mirrors the opposite, right, of this botany teal, and the white is the Aran color. But I like it. I think it's coming along really well. So I have made some progress on that. Next, I feel like, oh gosh, it was some time ago that I had talked about getting this sock yarn, and I did. And oh shoot, now some of it's coming apart just because I'm talking about it, right? And guess what? I don't often use this or do this, but I am making something that actually goes with the yarn. I present to you, friends, my very first crochet sock beginning. I only have one. I was trying to use a pattern, which I will link in the description box below, because technically this is the pattern that I am following, but it is not to scale because this yarn is significantly smaller than the yarn that the pattern called for. The pattern originally called for something like this. I just have this on hand, which is why I'm using it to demonstrate. This is for the big blanket coming up because I'm almost out of this color. And this is the medium gray. Oh, right, I'll show you after, my bad. This is the medium gray or medium gray heather yarn, which I think is so pretty. Anyway, but the socks, I think they're supposed to be like kind of a sock slipper, but they were originally, I believe, designed to go with a worsted weight yarn, which feels really big for me. A worsted weight with a 4.5 millimeter hook, which is 1 millimeter smaller than what this calls for. So perhaps even something like this, that's all messy. Now this is the stripy baby yarn that is like the poncho that I made. This is what is left over and the puppy got at it, so I was just annoyed and I just rolled it all up. I will fix it better later. Anyway, they perhaps meant something like this because this actually calls for a 4.5 millimeter hook, but I would imagine you would get incredible stitch like heft if you did use a worsted weight yarn. I don't have the label for this anymore, so I don't know if that's actually worsted weight or what is this. Just says 4. I'm used to the word or the numbers, not the words. So I'm pretty sure this is a worsted weight or this is a worsted weight. One of the two. I'm flinging crochet hooks all over, I feel. Oh, there it is. Oh my goodness. But once I am finished this sock, or this pair of socks, I do want to try to make some out of this, following the pattern rigorously to see how it works out. And there should be, like, there's loads in here. And if I make like a little shorty sock, which I don't really like, but just as a test pattern, I could possibly even gift these to somebody if I end up like really disliking how they feel. But I'm gonna try that pattern with this. And then I'll be also exploring other patterns. So the pattern that I'm using is a toe up. So that's how you call the sock patterns, is you call them cuff down or toe up, which is like, it's kind of funny to me because this is the front, but that's all right. It doesn't matter really at the end of the day. Oh, I made this funny. Oh, mama. Or did I? I can't remember now. Oh no, it goes this way. I'm sorry, I have this upside down. That's one thing that's a little bit hard because I've never made a sock before, is I often can't remember which way it goes. So the reason that I can tell which way it goes is because you start going, so I've started going and making the leg section, which I keep trying this on, so I hope this goes well. And again, like, I have had to remake this sock several times. When I get to about this area here is when I notice I will try it on, and it doesn't work out. And one time I made it way too big, so I was like, I don't want that. I don't want it to be wearing over other socks. And these will definitely be more winter, like, given that they're crochet, they're so thick. Like, but oh, they feel really interesting. And when I've put them on my bare foot, they feel great. Anyways, I was talking about the leg part. I have still quite a bit. I'll just fling hooks all over the place today. How about, like, that's the theme of our episode? Maybe that's what I'll call this episode, the flinging of the hooks. Anyhow, I have this much of the ball left, and it comes in this size. So I'm more than half done. Or maybe I'm exactly half done. Actually, I think I'm exactly half done because I still have to make the leg part of this and then crochet the heel on here. So I'll see how that goes. Anywho, so you skip some chains here at the bottom, as you can see. So it has like this little thing. And this goes around the back of your heel, and then this will go up the leg. And I'm trying to see, I'm gonna do it based on the prescription. And even if it doesn't work out quite right, I'm still gonna wear them, I think, even if it was just like in slipper style or something like that, just around the house. I don't want it super bulky in the ankle, and that's one thing I'm a little bit worried about, is that, like, if you keep going, like, let's say like this, like the tube shape is fine, but then when you put your foot into it, it feels really funny. So, and this calls completely for single crochet, so I'm not sure how or if that's even going to be rectified. So I guess I will have to see and report back. But up until this point, it seems like it is making sense for me. And yes, so like this whole thing is crocheted in the round in the spiral, not the back and forth round. And the pattern says sort of advanced beginner, and I would agree with that, as long as you were using the exact yarn and hook that it is called for. If you have to make any adjustments on the fly, I would say that that's more of a like intermediate advanced crocheter. So I am super, super proud of these. And then I do have another like follow-up to this one, but I finally got this one right, and I've been writing everything down in my notebook so that I can go back to this to make the second one so that it matches. And this is really hard for me because I don't use patterns, I just wing it, but I'm not winging it. I'm following somebody else's pattern to begin with, and then I'm writing down any adjustments that I make. So that's that. The next thing that I have on the go is another sock. This is actually the one that started them all. So you'll see what the issue is here right away, I think. This one is, okay, I feel like I have to back up a tiny bit. I went to Michael's and I was just wandering around and I saw that they had put a bunch of their perfect pair socks. So I really like these. And then I went to look this yarn more on the Summertime website to see if I could get more colors. And it turns out that they are not going to make this anymore. It looks like I can't find it anywhere on the website. So I'm tempted to go and buy the rest $3 a piece. And normally they have. So I thought that was pretty good. And now that I've started making socks, I'm like, ooh, I like it. This particular yarn calls for a 2.75 millimeter needle, and it calls for a 3.25 millimeter hook. I used a 3.5 because when I used a 3, it was way too tight, and I didn't have a 3.25, and I didn't want to buy a 3.25 just for this. So again, in the spirit of using what I have, and because I typically crochet my stitches on the tight side, but I like to have like loose straighties, so you know. So I ended up with this adorable little pink and gray stripy sock, and it fits my daughter, it does not fit me. And I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, oh shoot, I don't want to get rid of this. So I have a stitch marker in the top here that this one is just holding the stitch together so it doesn't unravel. This one is showing you where the center is. So this one is slightly more advanced in terms of production than the other one. And I'll see, like, it buckles here, so it'll turn. So that is what I'm worried about when we're wearing it, is how are we gonna fix that? Because our feet are not shaped like this, they're shaped like this. So I don't know, maybe this will all just come out in the wash, I'm not sure. I may have to frog this part here and make it a little bit bigger. I can't remember exactly. I have to get my daughter to try it on again, but that's one thing about this pattern, is that it says to like keep trying stuff on and see how it fits and make adjustments as you go along. So I really appreciate the flexibility in that regard. But isn't it like this yarn, this sock yarn is so pretty. This sock yarn is quite a bit smaller than this other stuff, which I think I will marry because I love it so much. So the other sock yarn that I'm using, and this is just a different color, this is called Prolana Mindvol. This is one I bought, oh gosh, probably it's quite a while ago. There was a sale, maybe it was the birthday sale from my yarn store. But I bought, there's the orange stuff, and then I have the blue stuff that I'm currently using for the socks. So I got 2 balls of this originally because the lady said that 1 ball should knit 1 pair of socks. And I'm like, okay, I know crochet uses a lot more yarn. So I got 2 because I thought maybe one sock per ball, but there's so much of this left over already that it's possible if I don't make the legs of them super tall, I might be able to get a pair per ball even myself, but we will see. Anyway, I am very interested in this. So the pink, this stuff, like I said, it calls for the 2.5 millimeter yarn, or hook, sorry, and it's quite small by comparison to this blue stuff, but the blue, it doesn't have crochet hook on here. That was the only thing. It called for a 2.5 to 3 millimeter hook, which I believe is bigger. Oh no, this one is right in the middle of the recommendation for this. So I would, if it was me, I would probably pick that. But this one is just, it's so puffy by comparison. So yeah, I don't know. Anybody, if there's anybody out there that's kind of like good at translating knit to crochet hook size, I would love to hear what you would suggest for this. So I did go for a bigger needle for this. I started with a 4 millimeter hook on the toe. I've lost my sock already. Oh my goodness. I started up with a 4 millimeter hook up to about here, and then The hook isn't like pokey enough for me on the top that I was using, so I switched to my 3.75 millimeter Susan Bates hook, which 2.25 millimeters should feel like nothing, but I feel like you can tell where I started using it. You can see it divots in right here. So then I had to, and you know, because I don't want to pull this out for, this would be like the 6th time, I just really had to be cognizant to crochet like gently and not pull it super tight because I didn't want it to get all messed up. And the last thing that I am working on, and I was really gung-ho when I got started, I'll just fling it around here, but I didn't get, I think I got excited about the socks and then I've forgotten about them because that's all I want to do right now is crochet socks, is I have started to make another triangle wrap for a new acquaintance of mine because I feel like they need something. When I am around them, the energy that I can feel coming off of them is just, it's really hard to explain, but I just feel like this person needs to have some outside kindness shown to them, which inspired me to make this for them. So, and I don't know this person all that well, and I'm just reading like what my gut says and how my energy feels when I am around them, which I know that sounds super hokey, but just let's go with it, okay? I read people's energy. So yeah, so I'm making this. This is a bit of a stash buster. I was going to get rid of this yarn, but I like it so much, and I think Michael's is getting rid of this as well. This is the Loops and Threads wool leg. I don't have any of the sleeves of them anymore. This one is goldenrod. It's very pretty. And this one is called denim. I know they definitely do not make this color anymore. And then this one is very fancily called beige. I looked it up before came to look. So yeah, unfortunately, I cannot give you any more details about this because I can't find anything. And perhaps my Google skills are just way off this week. It's possible, but that's that. So yeah, I'm just doing a series of, and again, this is on Ravelry, and I haven't updated the notes yet because I like to do, if I'm going to do that, I do it at the end of the project. So what I'm doing is very, very simple, very basic. It is A, B, C, B, A, back and forth like that. So I'm going to end on this mustard color goldenrod at the end so that it like bookends to one another. I like how that looks best. And then this is just a series. It's just a series of granny stripes, and it's nothing fancy. I switch the colors at the end, and I have left nice long tails, long for me anyway, to put back into here. And so what I've done is I crochet 3 rows of the first color, 3 rows of the first color, switch the colors, then I go 3 rows of the second color, switch 3, 3. So it's a series of 3 crochet stitch lines of this. This has been an excellent car project that I have taken with me because it still fits in my bag. That's one thing I really like about this yarn, is that it folds down really nice without getting like smashed. Like I can squish it really, really hard, and it's still like it bounces back really nicely. So I'm kind of bummed out that they're not going to make this anymore, because this I found was like excellent value as well. And I had a shirt that it was incredible. Like I could wash it, wear it. It got stains on it. The stains came out, everything. It was great. So I love this yarn. If anybody knows of a dupe for the Loops and Threads wool like, I would love to hear it. Unless it's something that's like actually wool, because wool makes me very hot. All right, I'm adding in a little extra section here today because, you know, why not? And it is a planned project that I have to get on because I promised that I would. So I have yarn behind me. So a planned project that I have to get sorted out, and I will probably start it before I finish anything else because I do want to get it done quickly, is my lovely niece has asked me to make her some stuff. So I went out to Michael's again, and I bought a bunch of this yarn. There's color missing here. She wants me to make her a flower arrangement out of crochet. So I have these, and this is the Michael's Impeccable yarn. It is like, they're pretty much standard, just regular yarn. Show yarn label here. It calls for a 3.5 millimeter hook, and it is a size 4, I believe. Does it say? Yes, this is a size 4, 5 millimeter hook. Wash, dry, do all of that good stuff with it. and I like it. I have used this yarn a ton. I am usually really happy with it. I'm happy with wear and tear, but because this is going to be a flower arrangement, it's not going to get wear and tear, and hopefully it's going to look incredible all the time. I am using this for the stem because I wanted something that was quite a bit darker, just to make, like, when you look at the vase, just to make the colors pop just that little bit, just that tiny bit more. So I held up all the colors with this, and I liked how it turned out. And I also have a tiny stash of white that I believe is impeccable as well, that I have just had left over, that if I have any to use from the big blanket to use with these, I would love to do that. But we'll see. Like, I've got lots of stuff on the go, but that is something that I have been researching, is how to crochet tulips. So that's fun. This week I would like to introduce you in my channel that I'm currently enjoying. Part of this episode is We Grow Wild with Martina. She is, I believe, from Italy. I've only just started watching her quite recently, but I need to go back. When I say this out loud, it sounds kind of creepy. I don't mean it to. I have to go back and listen to all of her videos, because I'm sure she explains tons of stuff. I'm pretty sure that she lives in Portugal right now. Regardless of where she lives, the place is stunning, and she's like living the life that I would love. So she has beautiful gardens. She knits lovely things. She's really bubbly. She's very sweet. I love the cinematography of her channel. So I recommend, if you're looking for a knitting channel, that you check her out. I will put her channel in the iCard above here. And yeah, just give it a go. It's something, her channel's a little bit different than other crafting channels that I am subscribed to. And even though I don't knit, I do subscribe to some knitting channels, because sometimes you guys show me like the most awesome yarn, and I'm like, putting that on the wish list. What am I reading this week? I am still reading The Women Who Run with Wolves. I don't usually have all of that much time to read before I fall asleep, because I take medication to help me sleep, and this is part of my wind down process, is that I read before bed. But it usually, like, once I crack the book out, it's usually, a bad night is probably half an hour I get to read. And I like to really think about what I'm reading as well. So it takes me a while to get through books. So yes, I'm still reading this. This is my boring old Kindle that I really like it. It's the backlit one. But yes, so that is what I'm reading. And finally, a short life sort of update, because I know that's not why you're here, but I like to add this into the end. Is that last time I was chatting with you, I was working on the 75 hard project, which I got to about, oh gosh, how far did I get? I got 5 days, which is not very good. Because my knees started hurting really, really, really badly, and I couldn't figure out what it was from. And I was really listening to my body, because my body doesn't usually say don't do that, but it was saying you need to stop. And on the morning of the 6th day, I woke up and gosh, I could barely walk, and my legs were just like, it was my knees in particular, but everything in my lower legs hurt so badly, and like I was crying and I could hardly walk, and I had put Tiger Balm on my knees and taken Advil and things like that. And once I took the Advil, it was a lot better, but I also don't want to take Advil for 75 straight days just to get through this challenge. So like most people, I quit the challenge. So I will try it again at another date. Just not right now. I am completely healed up now from the original issue. And for a while, I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, because I don't have knee pain. Like, I'm not a pain-filled person. So this was a really odd thing for me to have happen. So I narrowed it down to, it was from me walking the dogs. And the one dog I have is fine. The other one likes to pull, and it was the pulling. And I think I was bracing my knees like this constantly throughout the walk, because it's like when you go, if you've ever been hiking much and you go down anything that's steep, is that your knees will take it sort of is like this, they take the brunt, at least when I go down the hills anyway, they'll take kind of the brunt of the impact. And you shouldn't do that for a long period of time, or at least switch it up and go sideways and stuff to go down a hill when you're hiking. But I think that's what I was doing, is because I was not wanting to be pulled down, is that I ended up bracing my knees against the puppy pulling me. So that I'm 90% sure that that's what it is now, because I also haven't taken them for as many walks, but I've taken them out to do other off-leash activities, and I don't have the issue at all anymore. Like, my knees don't hurt at all. And yeah, like, I'm not sure if I was damaging my knees or my calves or anything like that, but it's not a risk I'm willing to take, because I am like in that age where I'm like, I'm young enough, I can like get over it pretty quickly, but I also know that the time is coming very, very soon that I cannot just do whatever I want and it will be without consequence. And because nobody has like the clock that says that, I really feel strongly that I have to listen to what my body is saying to me. And because like I said, I don't naturally have pain. Like, I don't get headaches. I don't, like, my bones typically are not sore. I don't have arthritis, even though I have like very oddly shaped fingers. I don't have arthritis. I have really good like body mobility, and I want to keep it that way. So I think listening to myself, when myself is like, hey, this hurts, and this hurts in a weird way that you're not used to. This doesn't mean, I would like to say, that I don't get like sore muscles from working out, because I do, but that's a completely different issue for me than having like tendon pain or joint pain or anything like that. So that was a lot of just like, this is why I can't do it right now. But I think if I modify my activities, I should be totally fine to do it again. But it was going well otherwise. I think that's all I got today. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you like this kind of content, could you give me a thumbs up, please? Or you can share it with somebody that you think would like this. And to stay up to date, you can hit the subscribe button, or like the cool kids say, smash that subscribe, smash it, so that you can get my videos in your feed. Thank you so much for joining me today. Stay bright, stay beautiful, and follow your vagabond hearts. Bye!